For decades, science fiction meant one thing: massive ships blocking out the sun and humanity scrambling to survive an overwhelming, hostile force. These stories rely on a predictable rhythm: shadowy government officials in bunkers, and explosive space battles that frame the universe as a zero-sum game of survival. But the high-gloss world of premium television is moving away from that simplicity. There is a specific, growing demand for narratives that take a slower, more intellectual approach to the unknown. Seeing a mothership explode no longer satisfies a viewer who wants to see the logistical and psychological reality of a first encounter. This shift away from the hostile invader trope has created a gap in our storytelling. Audiences are looking for an honest exploration of what a scientific encounter with another species would actually require of us. Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary targets this exact gap by subverting the expectations of the genre. The book centers on Rylan Grace, a human scientist who finds himself in deep space alongside a single alien engineer named Rocky. They aren't meeting to negotiate a treaty or fight a war. Both of their homeworlds are facing the same biological threat: a microbe that is slowly draining the energy from their respective suns. This diagram shows the shared stakes. Because this microbe is simultaneously dimming both stars, the two characters are forced out of a combat mindset and into a state of absolute, necessary cooperation. Weir replaces the traditional laser battle with mutual scientific respect, providing the kind of high-stakes, character-focused material that premium networks are currently looking to produce. Grace and Rocky's relationship is defined by the exhausting, often humiliating work of two strangers trying to decode one another in the dark. This process is a direct rejection of older sci-fi tropes that used universal translators to bypass the most difficult part of an encounter. The barrier between them is physical and acoustic. Human speech is translated into the musical chords the alien uses. They build vocabulary through trial and error, making every translated word a major breakthrough. This attention to detail turns the scientific method into a thriller. It proves that the tension of building a bridge can be just as dramatic as the tension of a fight. Project Hail Mary joins a lineage of high-budget productions that prioritize linguistics and cooperation over combat. It builds on the groundwork laid by films like Arrival and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which have spent decades shifting the public's perspective toward the possibility of a peaceful cosmic exchange. This pattern suggests a disclosure rehearsal. The idea that government institutions remain silent about extraterrestrial life. Our storytellers are stepping in to provide the framework for how we might actually react. Steven Spielberg is reportedly continuing this work with Day of Disclosure, a project aimed at deconstructing the old gray man abduction narratives that once dominated the screen. While governments withhold information, these writers are conducting a public, methodical preparation for contact. Premium science fiction television has moved away from teaching us how to fight a war in the stars. Instead, it is doing the work of preparing us for the profound, cooperative reality of joining a wider universe.